I've done some more investigative work on the helicopters flying over the Las Vegas Strip during the time surrounding the shooting on October 1st. So I'm going to walk you through this step by step and show you each helicopter that was in the air during that time. Just like plane flights, helicopter activity is tracked by the FAA. And with the McCarran Airport right next to the Strip, the FAA closely monitors any aviation activity to ensure that there are no mid-air collisions. Transponder signals send out squawk codes that identify the vehicle and its flight plan. Helicopters use N numbers to identify themselves. These N numbers are kind of like car license plates. You can look up the information on the N numbers on the FAA's website. The website that I'm using for this video is flightradar24.com. It's an excellent source of information for live air traffic. I use this when I'm doing my geopolitical reporting of activity around the world. This site provides some free tools, but because I have a Flight Radar membership, I have access to archived data. So what I've done is I have pulled the recording from the night of the shooting to show you everything that was in the air over the Strip. First, let's establish our time frame. Flight Radar uses Universal Time Coordinated Time, or UTC. So we have to convert Las Vegas time, which is Pacific Standard Time, into UTC. We know that the claims from the FBI of when the shooting started has varied, but the earliest time given is that the initial gunfire started inside the Mandalay Bay Hotel around 9:59 p.m. And the shooting on the concert at the concert venue, that started around 10:05 p.m. So I'm going to start the Flight Radar recording at that earlier time of 9:59. If we convert the time online, we'll use 9:55. 9:55 p.m. in Las Vegas on October 1st would turn out to be 4:55 a.m. or 4:55 on October 2nd in UTC. So in just a moment, we're going to be watching Flight Radar starting at 4:59 UTC. But first, let me introduce you to the geography that we're going to be looking at. We've got the Mandalay Bay Hotel here and the Luxor just past it, the McCarran International Airport. And this long road here is the Strip. This is Las Vegas Boulevard. Then the intersection going across is Mandalay Bay Road. Wrapping around the concert venue is a little road called Giles Street. We come up just a little bit and we've got Reno Avenue, and just past Reno are going to be the buildings as part of the Tropicana complex. That's where all the ambulances were in this most recent video that came out. There's Hooters, Tropicana, then we've got the Luxor, the concert venue, and back to the Mandalay Bay. And there's the Delano back there. We rotate it around and go a little further south. Down here is where Maverick Helicopter is, down at the bottom of the airport strip. And this is where I took the recording of some of the helicopters taking off. A few of the choppers there along here, and then I was in this building here recording these helicopters here taking off. And I'll show you that footage in a moment. Okay, so I was standing right there. Alright, that's your geography. Now we will compare that to the Flight Radar map. First, you'll see one helicopter at exactly 4:59 UTC, or 9:59 Pacific time. It passes by north of the venue. You'll see that it appears to have no call sign. This happens all the time on Flight Radar. You just have to click on the icon and it brings up the details. The registration of this helicopter is N208SH, and according to the FAA, it's owned by Sundance Helicopters, which is one of the tourist companies operating flights around the Strip. This is verified by a quick visit to the FAA website. November 208 Sierra Hotel. It's owned by Sundance Helicopters on 5596 Haven Street. The next helicopter to pass near the concert venue goes by at 10:01 p.m. This is when the massive volley of gunfire begins. This helicopter is also a tourist chopper. Its end number is November 213 Sierra Hotel, also owned by Sundance Helicopters. Now, nothing happens for the next 3 minutes, so we'll speed this up. At 10:05 p.m., Sundance N208SH is returning to base, followed a few moments later by Sundance N213SH as the Sundance choppers complete their tourist circuit. And nothing else happens or passes by the concert venue until 10:14 p.m. when a series of 4 helicopters from Maverick Helicopter fly by on their tourist circuit. Their tail numbers are 853, 868, 816, and 854, all ending with the letters MH or Mike Hotel. Again, the FAA confirms that each one of these choppers is owned by Maverick Helicopter, leased under Mustang Leasing LLC, located at 1620 Jetstream Drive. The Mandalay Bay is right there. Now, in addition to the section right next to the McCarran Airport, if we go further south, you'll find that Maverick Helicopter keeps some of its helicopters down here at 1620 Jetstream Drive. This is Maverick Helicopter's vehicles right here. If the pattern in which these 4 Maverick helicopters were traveling is familiar to you, you may be remembering the video footage that I posted after Jason Goodman and I visited Maverick in person to interview someone there at the company. These helicopters take off in groups. I've spoken with both Maverick and Sundance, and neither helicopter company saw any other choppers near the strip in this time period. While showing you the detail down near the concert venue, I can tell you I also observed activity further north of the strip, and I can tell you that no other helicopters were showing any activity up there during this time either. Here's a wider view of the Maverick choppers coming into frame at 10:17 p.m. Nothing else happens until Southwest Airline Flight 4119 passes over the Mandalay Bay. But now we get to the mysterious helicopter that was seen by many different people, flying around Tropicana, New York, down to the Luxor and Mandalay Bay, even hovering above the Mandalay Bay for quite some time. It enters the frame at 10:26 p.m. coming down from the north. It spends a lot of time around the Mandalay Bay. From this point on, for about the next hour, no other helicopters come near the Las Vegas Strip. This chopper is the only one that shows up on the FAA radar. This helicopter is registration number N11WY, November 911 Whiskey Yankee. It is registered by the government. It's used by the Las Vegas Metro PD. Serial number 0144 Foxtrot. This is an Allison 250 C30 SER turbo shaft. It searches around the Mandalay Bay from 10:26 p.m. to 11:13 p.m., at which time it moves up the strip past the Luxor, following Las Vegas Boulevard, all the way up to Dunes Road, just above Caesar's Palace, where it then turns around and heads south again. Between 11:17 and 11:18 p.m., it's traveling over the Bellagio, past the Aria, down past the New York, Excalibur, and back down toward the Mandalay Bay. Now, those of you who have been examining the various cell phone footage of the mysterious helicopter, the mystery chopper, the same one that my guest, Mark, described seeing as well, or the time frame and location he talks about, you'll find that the cell phone footage timestamps matches up with the time and the route of this helicopter. At no point did any of the tourist gunship choppers fly into the area. This is confirmed not only by transponder signals, but also Jason Goodman went and spoke with one of the managers of the gunship company that does the gunship tourism, where you go out into the desert and fire guns from the chopper. Okay, they confirmed to him that they only operate during the daytime. So at 11:47 p.m., the police helicopter returns to its base address, which is Thunderbird Field Road, that's given by the FAA. So I'll show this to you. So if we go from the Mandalay Bay, go north a few miles, this is where the Las Vegas helicopter was coming from, up here on Thunderbird Field Road. This is the airstrip. Okay, that's where the mysterious helicopter was coming from. Now, does this put a final nail in the coffin in the theory that helicopters were firing on the crowd? Well, there are always going to be those who argue that a high-tech black helicopter owned by the government could come in and carry out a gun attack without any of the other choppers noticing, and that these secret helicopters wouldn't be using a transponder signal that would show up on the FAA's radar. So I acknowledge that, but still, the odds that none of these other experienced helicopter pilots would notice an unusual attack helicopter carrying out this crazy attack, that seems very unlikely to me. What I have presented in this video accounts for every helicopter that I've heard other YouTubers talking about in their videos. I don't pretend to be perfect, so if you think that you have footage of another helicopter other than one of the ones that I have shown in this video, and you have some way of showing either a timestamp or something that conflicts with the flight patterns that I've shown in this video, please share your material with me. I've got an open mind, and I'm willing to take a look at conflicting evidence if any is put forward. So I'm not trying to present this information as the whole truth and the only truth, but this is far more complete than anything that I've seen offered anywhere else, at least for the time being. So unless I see better evidence than what has been put out so far, I am of the opinion that no gunfire came from helicopters on the night of the October 1st shooting.
One of the theories I have seen in my comment sections suggests that Saudi Arabian attack helicopters, taking part in red flag training exercises hosted at Nellis Air Force Base, northeast Las Vegas, were somehow involved in the Route 91 massacre. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. For starters, attack helicopters are weapons of war. If they had been used in the concert shooting, we would not be discussing bullet wounds, we would be talking about bodies, literally blown to pieces. If you want proof, go to LiveLeak and look up Apache gun camera footage. It is quite often the case that after a gunship attack on human targets, all that is left is unrecognizable flesh and bone, and rags that used to be clothes. Also, why would attack helicopters be taking part in red flag exercises? Exercise Red Flag is an advanced aerial combat training exercise hosted at Nellis Air Force Base by the United States Air Force. Let's take a quick look. These aircraft are F/A-18 Hornets. These aircraft are F-16 Fighting Falcons. These aircraft are F-15 Eagles. These are A-4 Skyhawks and L-159 light attack and training aircraft. These are F-22 Raptors. These are F-16 aircraft in aggressor squadron markings. These are A-10 Thunderbolts. These aircraft are F-15 Eagles. The purpose of Red Flag is to train pilots and other flight crew members from the United States and other allied countries for real air combat situations. This involves primarily fighter and bomber aircraft, not attack helicopters. Bringing an attack helicopter to such an event is like taking your capable road car to a Formula One race. Pointless. You would just get in the way. So, no, I do not feel that the evidence supports Saudi Arabian attack helicopters taking part in Red Flag, also collaborating in the shooting. The following YouTube video is titled, Las Vegas Shooting, Mercenaries in Helicopter False Flag. Some researchers had suggested that these were mercenaries about to attack the crowd. There is also a second video, taken from the same location and time. 10:55 p.m. The helicopter in these clips is an MD-500, or MD-500 variant. I recognized it straight away. I have modeled them in the past. Further research shows that the LVMPD does indeed fly these machines. You can see from the second video that the area has a great deal of police activity. You can also see the south-facing side of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. This activity was located at the Harley-Davidson store, 5191 South Las Vegas Boulevard, approximately 1/2 mile south of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. In my view, this shows SWAT team members about to board the helicopter and potentially excellent police tactics. From this location, and with the helicopter's transponder and navigation lights turned off, they could approach the Mandalay Bay Hotel unobserved by any shooter located in the northern spar of the hotel. Then they could place marksmen on the roof of the hotel, with a perfect elevated position from which they could target anyone shooting from upper floors located in the northern spar of the hotel. So, no, I do not think this video shows mercenaries about to take off in a helicopter to shoot at the concert crowd.
So this first one hovers right there, right over Mandalay Bay, right over the event center, kind of oval-shaped roof. Here comes the third and the fourth. Notice that first helicopter, what happened is it turned off its transponder. These other two are about to do the same, and they turn off their transponders as well. And they remain there, no transponder signals come back on for the duration of the shooting.
The last recorded distance of the helicopters from the concert venue, before the shooting began, was approximately 1,000 yards. Helicopters, with their navigation lights turned on, can be seen moving from left to right, or south to north, and behind the Delano Hotel, in the final moments before the attack. Let's watch an Iraq War combat veteran and weapons expert shooting at a stationary target 600 yards away, under perfect conditions, and using a completely stable platform from which to fire.
Huh. All right, I'm gonna bring it up a little more. Yes!
Notice how the gun barrel remains almost completely stationary between each shot.
Well, that's not good.
Did you change the zero from when we were shooting at 4?
No, I don't think so.
Well, bring your point of aim down considerable amount. You hit like just low. There you go. That was all right. There you go. Yep, good center mass impact. There you go. Yep. Just high, Eric.
And remember, this is at 600 yards. Now, let's look at a helicopter trying to maintain a stable hover. You will notice that the helicopter is constantly moving. So, no, I do not think these helicopters were involved with shooting on the crowd. I find it hard to believe that marksmen firing from moving helicopters, 1,000 yards distant, could even hit the concert venue, never mind individual, human-sized targets.
This is the Las Vegas Shooter's Suite. It's called the Vista Suite, and it's a spacious 1,700 square feet with a wraparound view overlooking the Vegas Strip. Somehow, Stephen Paddock sneaked in 23 guns in 10 pieces of luggage without housekeeping ever raising a red flag. We're also learning more about how the massacre was staged. This illustration shows how Paddock opened fire into the crowd at the 15-acre concert site below. The killer used a device like this that turns his semi-automatic weapon into a rapid-fire killing machine, as seen in this YouTube video.
Veteran cops could tell from the sound of the gunfire that fully automatic weapons were likely involved. Among the armory of guns, ammunition, tripods, and scopes recovered from the hotel room were .223 caliber and .308 caliber semi-automatic rifles, possibly illegally converted into machine guns, commonly used by the military and police departments, able to strike a target from long distances.
Detectives are combing through evidence to uncover the motive behind the shooting and any other pertinent information that will help shed light on this horrible event. We have recovered 23 firearms at Mandalay Bay and 19 firearms at his home in Mesquite.
Just based on where he was, the position of the suite, the height, how there were two different angles in a two-bedroom suite, knowing that he could get different firing positions and he could maneuver if he needed to. The fact that he had either automatic weapons or semi-automatic weapons converted to automatic weapons and bipods for stable shooting positions with, I've heard long guns with scopes. So initially he knows he can get the shooting started, and once he starts shooting, it's going to be tough for them to get out. And with two different angles moving by himself, he can keep them in what we would call like a kill box. For anyone that knows how to do it, it's simple. You can either convert the guns messing with certain parts of the weapon, the interior, 4 to 6 minutes doing a couple modifications. There are devices you can use on the stock and the trigger where technically it's not an automatic weapon, because the definition of automatic is, you know, one trigger pull and every round will go out as long as you keep it depressed.
When it is alleged that over 1,000 rounds had been fired from that room, why don't we see muzzle flashes, like we are seeing here? I know that the flash is only for a fraction of a split second, in real time, but continuous fire from an automatic weapon like the DDM-4 rifles used by Paddock and the AR-15 all had a flash suppressor on the end, like these ones here. So you would see hardly any flashes out of those weapons, let alone from 400 meters away or around 1,300 feet away from the camera.
Test 1. No flashlight eliminator, no muzzle brake. Smith Vortex flash hider. Note the difference in muzzle flash between brakes and flash hiders. Delask XB1. A specs brake. This is commonly marketed as a flash hider. PWS Triad 556. Alberta Tactical Rifle, lightweight flash eliminator. And finally, Alberta Tactical Rifle eliminator.
This may simply explain why we cannot see any muzzle flashes in any single video. Now we know that the room would not be lighting up and flashing because of the muzzle flashes from the gunfire like some may think. We would see nothing. Especially from a tiny camera filming from over 400 meters away. 1,300 feet, looking for a flash that lasts a split fraction of a second, and as just demonstrated, won't be visible anyway as he was using a flash suppressant of some kind on most if not all of the weapons.
Well, it's just we don't really know where to go, because it's like if you go there, then you might be in a line of fire, because they're all the way up there.
You could literally see glass falling out of the windows of Mandalay Bay.
On this side, they see people moving, they might just start shooting whatever they see moving.
Because I think they're just like shooting randomly, just at the event. Or
I was sitting down in the lobby area outside on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I heard what I thought was fireworks. I looked up, and one of the windows was falling down, glass shattering and coming down, and then a few random gunshots, and then another window busted out, and then just a bunch of rapid-fire gunshots after that. Went on for about 2 minutes.
Another option, which is a better option in terms of strength, durability, clarity, and affordability, is fire-rated tempered glass. Tempered has 10 times the strength of ceramic or wired, without the need for films or lamination, which makes it more affordable. It doesn't have embedded wires or amber tints either, giving it superior optical clarity. Here's how 1/4 inch fire protective tempered and 2 layers of 1/4 tempered with a layer of fire-resistant intumescent performed in the same CPSC Category 2 400 foot-pound impact test. Not only does it pass the test, it survives the impact. This means that there's less breakage over time. In the event that tempered glass does break and needs to be replaced, it breaks into small pieces that pose no threat of injury. And since it costs significantly less than filmed or laminated ceramic, the replacement costs over time are reduced as well.
This is what a professional glazer wrote and left in my comments section. I quote, "I was a glazer back in the late 1980s and early 90s and have installed glass in curtain wall constructed office buildings. The glass we installed were 1-inch thick insulated lights, made up of 2/4-inch thick sheets of glass. Tempered glass on the inside, and heat-strengthened plate on the outside. This will give you an idea of the glass. What the lights look like: 1/4-inch tempered on the inside, 1/4-inch annealed strengthened plate on the outside. It has been suggested by professionals that work in this field of work that you could very easily shoot out those type of windows. To add, 1/4-inch tempered glass is reasonably safe in most cases and very economical." And I quote his final words, "Of course it will break if you shoot it with a high-powered rifle. Unless the window has a film like this on it, then may keep it together for a little bit longer." You can see the bullets going straight through that glass and hitting the ground behind the window.
This is a brief demonstration illustrating what happens when a piece of plate glass breaks compared to the breaking of a piece of tempered glass. Tempered glass and plate glass are made in different ways. Tempered glass, particularly, is treated during production so that it has a compressive stress built into the outer surface of the glass. This has two effects. The first, it makes the glass stronger. Tempered glass will not break as easily as plate glass. The second effect is that when tempered glass does break, it will break into many, many small pieces, which are less likely to cause injury than plate glass, which we will see through this demonstration. In this demonstration, which was captured by a high-speed camera, a weighted hammer is allowed to rotate down and hit panes of plate glass and tempered glass. The glass in both cases was of identical thickness and dimensions. The first demonstration shows a piece of plate glass fixed to a frame. When a pin is pulled, the hammer rotates down and strikes the plate glass. You can see that when it breaks, it forms large pieces, some of which fall while others remain held within the frame. Plate glass, when it breaks, can have sharp edges. Large pieces fall with greater energy than smaller pieces, which have less weight and less energy to be able to cause injury. Another video shows the same effect from a slightly different angle. The pin is pulled, the hammer rotates down, hits the plate glass, and some pieces fall out, while some pieces are held within the frame. But they are large pieces, and they can have sharp edges which can cause injury. Let's observe the same scenario with a piece of tempered glass. Same thickness, same dimensions. The only thing that we have changed is the condition of the glass, tempered versus plate. The hammer rotates down and impacts the piece of tempered glass. Even though all the conditions are the same, the hammer, when it hits the glass, doesn't have enough energy to cause the glass to break. This demonstrates the strength of tempered glass. With the identical impact, the same amount of energy, the tempered glass does not break. In order to show you what happens when tempered glass does break, we need to add more energy to the hammer strike. In this video, rather than letting the hammer fall, we pulled on it with more energy, giving it sufficient inertia to cause the tempered glass to break. The tempered glass fractures, but it breaks into a network of small pieces, which separate into small granules, which are smaller, and therefore they have less mass. They provide less energy, and they hold together with less strength. Instead of large fragments being separated and falling out, or being held within the frame, as was the case with the plate glass, what we have with tempered glass are small granules sitting at the bottom of the frame.
You hear so much. I can hear when the planes take off. The glass is thick, but not... So is it plausible that he could break the windows? Yeah, but it's not that thick. That's the glass, and then you see the other side. See, you can see where my finger's touching. So it's not that thick that, that I don't know, he could have broken it, that if it was him, if he even did it, whatever. So, but I would think that if somebody were to break out this glass, that you would definitely, that people would be calling. Again, the vents, I hear the guy coughing, I hear the guy upstairs flushing the toilet.